so I had to get a couple giggles out. The law of cosines is stated right here, very similarly to the way that we did the law of sines. Capital A, B, and C are the angle measures, and lowercase a, b, and c are the side lengths that correspond to those angles. And these are your formulas. Okay, so they're a little bit less, they're a lot more complex than the law of sines. So you've got a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. So there's some little tricks to help you remember this. First of all, notice that your side lengths always show up twice. So b squared, and then b's over here. And then you've got c squared, and c's over here. And then you've got the angle of which the side is not present. The side is what you're solving for. So you can kind of see some ways to memorize it, but the best way to memorize these is to just continue to work with them and continue to work with them. And you can see that there's 3 different ones, but basically as long as you remember the whole concept, you don't have to look back at these based on their labelings. Okay, so you'll have a side and it shows up here, the other side it shows up here, angle of the side that's not present, and it's equal to that side that wasn't present over here. So let's go ahead and look at solving a side angle side. The best way to memorize these is just to work with them. So I give you step-by-step instructions. The first thing you're going to do is use the law of cosines to find the side opposite the given angle. The order is important. Okay, so you have to do these things in this order. Let's go ahead and get our triangle drawn over here. So we're going to be given an angle A of 60 degrees, a side length B of 20 unknown units, and a side length C of 30 unknown units. So you can see that if we try to sketch this out, angle A is 60 degrees, and then we don't know B, but we do know side length B is 20, and we don't know C, but we know side length C is 30, and we don't know side length A. So you can kind of see here that we don't have a known ratio. That's what a side angle side gives you. So step 1, use the law of cosines to find the side opposite the given angle. We want to get a known ratio. So you always want to start with a side length that's going to give you a known ratio. So step 1, we want to find A. So we're going to use a squared equals, use this top one, and we're going to put b squared, which is 20, plus c squared, which is 30, minus 2 times this side length times this side length times cosine of our given angle, which is 60 degrees. And remember, cosine of 60 is a number in and of itself. So from this point on, you're just doing a bunch of calculator work. And notice that a squared is squared, so at the end we're going to have to square root whatever we get. So let's type this in the calculator. We're going to have 20 squared plus 30 squared minus 2 times 20 times 30 times cosine of 60. And I'm going to hit enter, but then I'm going to check to make sure my calculator is in degrees. So hit that and I get 700. Yep, it's in degrees. Alright, so now after I've done all that, I have a squared equals 700. I'm going to square root both sides. Square root of 700 is 26.45. So that's going to round up to 26.5. Alright, so now we've got a known ratio. Now we're going to use the law of sines. So notice the law of cosines is just used to get us the information so we can use the easier one, which is the law of sines. So it says use the law of sines to find the angle opposite the shorter of the two given sides. So this part is saying we need to find the angle opposite the shorter of the two given sides. So in this problem, the shorter side is 20, so we need to find this one second. And the order does matter. If you don't do it in that order, sometimes things get a little off. I haven't mathematically figured out why, but it does. I can't remember. Alright, so we're going to use the law of sines and our known ratio. So our known ratio is 26.5 over sine of 60 equals, and we've got 20 over sine of angle B. So at this point it's just like skill 32 where we had to solve for the missing B. And I'm going to go ahead and just say B is congruent to, because I know I'm going to cross multiply, divide, and then take the inverse sign. Now for you, you might want to write out all of that work, okay? But I'm not going to. So the inverse sign, I know I cross multiply and divide, so it'll be 20 sine of 60 divided by 26.5. And I get 40.8. And since we're finding degrees, that's going to be 41 degrees. Now, I said this was like skill 32. So this is technically B sub 1. Oh boy. So now we got to find out, is there more than one triangle here? So we've got to think about B sub 2 in the second quadrant. To think through that, we've got to do 180 minus 41, which is 139. But right away I can see that this is not going to work out, because when I go to find C, I'm going to have to take 180 minus 60 minus 139, which is going to be negative. So if you don't trust me, pause the video, you can see for yourself. But that's not going to work out, thank goodness. So now we're on to step 3, which is find the third angle. And we're going to do that C is approximately 180 minus 60 minus 41, because it's the third angle in the triangle. And that's going to be 79 degrees. Yep. And now we're done, because we found the 3 missing pieces of information. We have solved it.